I'm Carolina, Crespect co-founder, and Crespect is the intelligent legal practice management software. And today we will be talking about software and about changing the software and the maybe tips and tricks how to successfully adopt new system and overcome all these challenges of data migration, of customizations, and especially change management, how to make people happy with this change. So joined today, I have two lovely guests. First, we have Claudia Vanheiden. I'm really trying to use my German here. Claudia, you're based in Switzerland and you're advising law firms during these types of changes, right? Hi.
Yes. Hi. Hi. Nice to meet you.
And Eglė Venskūnienė, COO of Sorainen, one of the most innovative law firms in the Baltics, who recently led this type of transition from old legacy tool to a new system called Crespect. So you have fresh experience and maybe lessons to share. Hi, Eglė.
Carolina.
So, dear viewers, we'd like to make this session interactive. If you have any comments or questions you'd like to ask our participants today, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll get back to them when we can after this conversation, most probably. So let's just dive in. Let's start. Let's start with you, Claudia, and your experience in this type of change management field. I don't know about you, but unfortunately, when I meet a lot of European law firms, international law firms, I quite often encounter them, complaining and struggling that maybe, their old systems are old now. They would love to change, but they're afraid of switching. They are afraid of doing this change. So how would you say when it is inevitable to change? What are the signs that it's no go anymore? You need this change to happen, however painful this experience might look.
It really depends a bit on the firm, of course, but there's some very obvious reasons like compliance and security. I guess nobody gets around that one. Once the firm knows they have gaps in that field that don't meet today's standards or they put the firm at risk, then that's definitely a go ahead and find an alternative solution. Another reason could be the business objectives can no longer be met. The goals that the firm has set cannot be tracked in the system. Productivity is no longer there, and improving it is not something that the current system allows. Let that be manual workarounds within or outside the system. The goal to enhance maybe the billing cycle, to do that faster, or the client onboarding, to have that more secure and in line with any firm's policies, or just simply integrating with external third-party tools that would enhance their daily works is not an option. Those reasons definitely are a reason to go. And of course, if you have very frustrated employees that can no longer do the daily work, I guess we can also put that in line here.
Eglė, do you relate? You've recently switched. Were any of this like common pain points, some of the pain points represented your experience, why the switch was necessary?
Definitely. So the last point about frustrated employees, I believe, is one of the drivers as well. So in our case, we had several reasons. So one of these, of course, the performance, as we were building the system ourselves using the low-code platform. So the performance, when you are small firm and when you grow, you have more employees, the usage grows, and then the performance issues were really something what was bothering people a lot. That's one reason. Another reason was also aging technology. As Claudia well put, there are multiple risks that are the result of the aging technology. So definitely there was already this point when we had to decide what to do, because we need to address also the cyber, we need to address the integrations, artificial intelligence, and many, many more things. So the aging technology was second. And third, last but not least, was also the maintenance cost. Because when we have technology solution, of course, we need to have, good operational parameters, but one of the very important aspects is also the maintenance. How much time, how much effort goes into that, and many other things that relates to the maintenance. So these three options were the main.
And let's elaborate on this. Like when law firm is it's necessary to change. Claudia, how do you feel? Like when do you feel confident usually in these change projects that okay, this law firm is really ready? They will succeed in replacing the tool. Sometimes there's this gut feeling that okay, they can do it, and sometimes you feel like okay, maybe they want the change, but not really internally. Are there any like success factors, some sort of signs that you feel that okay, this law firm is the one who will definitely implement a new tool successfully?
Yes, there is signs, and like you just said, Eglė, it's the management seems in your case to have really been aware of what they want to achieve, what they don't any longer want to carry on with them. And if a firm has done their homework like that they really know the goals, that they really know what they want to solve, what they want to improve, then that's definitely one sign that they are ready to go. But also they need to allocate enough resources, enough time. They need to bring in people that do have an experience with this type of project, because I mean, to be honest, this type of a project happens every 10 or 25 years in best case. So you definitely don't have in generally experience in-house that you need. So you need to complement it with some more external partnerships that can help you through that. And most importantly, I can see it when the management or the leadership or partnership, whatever you call it in your firm, is committed, when they have managed to unify the different goals that they are going for. If they manage to address the internal politics, I guess everybody knows about that one. And also if they really are actively and visibly supporting the project, be that formally or informally among the employees. It can be really easy. Sorry, I'm losing it. It can be really easy symbols, like walking through the aisles and talking to the employees and bringing them in line. So I do believe when the partnership is aligned, that's the main driver, as well as the do your homework, know what you want to solve with the new solution. And normally firms start the other way around. They select a solution instead of going through what they really want to improve. And I find this is not necessarily the right way to go.
So this is, I'd say this is one of the common pitfalls, to not to start from the problems, not to start internally, but start externally. You see something flashy, you see a new tool, and you maybe choose a tool without matching how it would meet your needs, right? Are there any other pitfalls that you could share and are for our viewers to avoid the errors that you encounter?
Yeah, I see a lot that these initiatives are handled as IT projects, purely IT projects, which if we understand that technology is the smaller portion of such a project, is not the right way to go. You do want to involve the business side to realize the software potential. You do want to have the right people in place, like I said. You do want to make sure that you don't run into the pitfall of over customizing the system. With that I mean you try to bend the system under any circumstances to what you are used to and how your old processes used to work. The pitfalls that we have is definitely the underestimation of change management. Firms do not see it in the beginning, what an immense effect such a change has on the employees and how much time needs to be invested to bring them on board, to keep them on board, and to actually have them work with them through this change.
Mm-hmm. Eglė, how does it sound? How does it sound from a side? Now it's been more than a month, right?
Yeah.
New layout, new solutions, new views, new buttons, and some old habits still exist. How do you feel? How are you?
Well, we feel still very much in the project for now, because we went live with the first phase. We chose that we go in phase approached, where first and foremost we've gone with like minimal viable product, the main functions, and then we now build in phase 2 and phase 3 some additional functionalities. In this way as well, it's as Claudia was saying, it's part of the change management test, that it's not overwhelming everything going at once, but it's little by little onboarding people with different functions. But it's very much still the project, although we are very, very happy that we have now this core functionalities working. And yeah, it will be still a couple of months while we have this final solution, but I find a lot of benefits in this approach. Though, yes, communication is critical at this point, that we explain that it's not yet the final product, more things to come, but it allows people to accommodate these changes at a good pace.
Yeah. And what helped you? How do you think? Preparation, any tips? Was it an IT project? Who was involved?
Yeah, well, it was a transformation project, I would say. Of course, IT part was the core part in general. I mean, it's a lot of still development, testing, and etc. But I believe what helped us, it was a very strict deadline that we set. Yes, we set the deadline that we need to be live 1st of September latest. That's the borderline. And then, we are going about this high-level plan, then iterating, developing a little bit more detailed plans, and so on. Of course, there were some changes in between. Yes, that in first go it was like big bang, then we switched to phases, etc. But it's all about setting this deadline and then elaborating as much as you can and figuring out, what is the best way forward so that we get live on that date. So that helped a lot. I think also what helped a lot was this change management approach, because we were using some principles of 𝗪𝗏 and having this awareness, desire. So we communicated like more than a year before the change that we will be changing, so that people start thinking about that. Yeah. Then it was very much well-planned communication, on a quarterly, then on the monthly, then on a weekly basis. We even had in our intranet page a countdown clock that was counting down, to the go live date, and etc., so that people, they mentally prepare to that. Also, we put a lot of emphasis on communication, different channels, like, from TV screens in kitchens to our inside to team updates. But I believe the more communication, the better. Now I feel, looking backwards and also listening to feedback, that we even could have had more communication on what exactly, when, and how it will be coming. So yeah, but then if just to summarize in a nutshell, I think it's planning, but still not sticking like, to this waterfall, that you have these iterations and some agility within, setting very clear targets when you would like to have what, and then having this change management and communication very well intertied to the whole plan.
Communication, it sounds like there's never enough of communication, right? And so a lot of communicators, what they say is like it's never enough, and it will never be too much of communication. Exactly. Right? Announcements, preparation, and awareness, and still a lot of people will miss that on vacations, out of offices, busy, and so on. So is there something else? Claudia, maybe we forgot something. Maybe Sorainen could even done something better. Is there something else in the preparatory type of stage before changing the main system of the company? What should be like more and more emphasized?
Well, I can't say from what I heard now, but I assume you did that as well. I love to bring in some sort of ambassadors, right? Because in the end, like you say, communication is all, and it all starts with the people. So I normally like to identify somebody in the firm that is respected, that people are listening to, that they trust, and they generally bring in this piece of information that is not arriving at the right people through an email or through a training or through a manual or whatever. They manage to bring them on board by emphasizing the message, what is happening, why it's happening, and how great it might even be. So that really does help for sure as well, on top of what you already said. And yes, I think from what I hear from you as well, you definitely have a good after go live structure in place with all the support, with all the trainings. And of course, you understand that it's not done with the go live. It will take a long period of time. And the plan needs to support that because the business needs keep changing and certain items need to be tweaked here and there. So yeah.
There's an interesting, we had a internal discussion about software. It's never finished. Software is constant development with the recent, all the constant upgrades, the AI coming up. So it's like new solution is never, a finish. It's a starting line rather than a finish. And our engineers told me one day, it's buying a new apartment, like a new house. You bought this house, but you will continue redecorating. You'll figure out that this carpet is too fluffy and you want to change it. You will relocate the furniture, you'll change the paintings and so on. So you have the infrastructure, which is solid and stable, but the remodeling can still continue. And then there will be maintenance. There will be dust collecting in the corners, right? So this awareness and mentality may be being ready that it's not over. It's a beginning. It's a start, right? And considering that lawyers are very conservative, and well, this is something that makes good lawyers. They're very resistant to change. They're very cautious. They're very attentive. They look at everything suspiciously. That's why they're good lawyers, right? But they're very hard to just switch, to pull a plug. Do you have any tips, advice, how to train, how to, I don't know, make very conservative, old-fashioned sometimes lawyers, how to make them excited about the innovation?
Let me put it away. I think there some are just simply not ready to change, and that's okay. That's also okay. But if you focus on the ones that are somehow intrigued and are somehow interested to move into this direction where everything is going now, then I found that it's definitely not going to be a training session with them that will move them there, but it's for them really to find what matters to them the most. What are practical real work examples that have a meaning to them, to show this to them in really short focus sessions, and respecting their time as a lawyer, and really just focus on those items that they come in step by step, or to outline the benefits of the change in itself, not single features only, but in total, that it can help to have more billable hours, for example, or to reduce the back office cost, whatever it may be. In this situation, it always depends on the firm a lot as well. So that can help. Also, what I found, creating a little bit of competition works ways. So if the lawyer next door is already using all this fancy new stuff and he's actually having much more information available than the other, that really helps to engage them amongst each other, and they train each other once that system is understood to use this as a competition.
Eglė, have you noticed something like that, like the recipe for successful onboarding or successful change?
Well, I think definitely, what Claudia was saying about what's in it for me, yes, that each individual, they understand the unique why I should use this technology or this innovation, how it will help me, how it will help, the client experience, how that adds value. Yeah, so being very vocal about the why is really important. But I'm also a believer that not every technology, not every innovation should be used by everyone. Yes, that we also are giving, some options and some freedom for people to choose. Of course, it's not about the practice system, because that is probably the only system that everyone should use in the company. But then for these software solutions that everybody needs to use, it's very important the first impression. Yes, if you get the first try of the product that feels seamless, that is bug-free, it gives huge advantage. Yes, because you save time to persuade someone, that no, you should give it a try. Yes, that there was a small bug, but now we fixed and now it will work. It's trickier. Of course, it's just a longer path. But then this seamless experience, I believe, is also a very important factor in getting the adoption rates.
By the way, let's make it interactive to everyone watching as well. Like, share what's your challenge. What are the maybe tips, tricks, what help your firm, and or on the other hand, what's withholding you from upgrading from legacy tool to the new tools. But let's rather focus on not what's withholding, but what's like, let's manifest the positive change, right? So very often I see it as a pitfall. So sometimes law firms feel that, okay, we did the change and that's done. Okay, we've already invested. Claudia, is there something, like, we spoke about the process, we spoke about the beginning, how to keep lawyers engaged? It's not over, with the contract, with the new software. Are there any practical tips what managers within law firms should do to keep on learning new features, more communication?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I have seen a firm really where it didn't happen quite quickly that the system fell out of sync with the firm needs, because naturally we stop at some point, and it's daily work, right? It's daily operations, and the system is doing what it does, but we don't invest too much in time anymore. And I think that's one of the factors that really needs to be kept in mind. If nowadays, with the technology that's around now, you really need a long-term owner, be it a system owner or a process owner, that really makes sure that all the users are staying involved, that they are working, that they're allowed to give feedback and can support to shape the system going forward. But it needs to be a person that is really having the authority to drive that improvement within the work, somebody that understands the strategy of the firm, but also the daily operations. A lot of firms don't necessarily have that internally, but I think it's okay if they just at least regularly get check-ins with external support, even if let it be just for the inspiration. That's definitely something, and making it part of the daily life. I think this is the hardest, because we do tend to go back into old ways of working easily. And if it's not part of the everyday operations, that somebody is there and does control and check and has consistent interactions with the users, let it be the partners, the back office, whoever is using the system, then we just really easily fall behind. And that needs to be ensured. And that helps. I see that firms that have invested in that, it does help a lot.
So the ownership, the channel to reach out, the channel to gather feedback. Anything else? Then maybe, I don't know, internal communication, use cases, successes.
Definitely use cases. I mean, use cases is what we live off, right? If you can bring somebody to understand, like Eglė said earlier as well, what's in for me, how can I make that work for me, because I work differently than partner B on the other side of the building, then that definitely needs to be communicated, needs to be supported, that people can make use of it for themselves as well, if it is a use case that makes sense to them. Yeah.
Thanks. Eglė, did we miss anything?
Well, good question. I think, yeah, Claudia mentioned the main things, because I'm just like really thinking what we do. So we have this also hypercare team right now after the first phase going live. So we have a dedicated channels for like super users. We have, let's say, revenue team. We have practice group coordinators who use system the most, with the most, let's say, complex scenarios. So we have a dedicated chat channel, so that you don't need to raise IT tickets for help, but there is a team behind, both from internal project team and the vendor side, so that they can tackle these feedback or like issues very, very fast. Yeah, so that really helps a lot. And then also, I believe, for keeping up, this engagement and the people interest is very important, just to keep them updated. In our case, we have still some functionality that will be coming out, so we update on, after every week we update what new has been released, what type of bugs have been fixed, what type of feedback has been addressed, so that people, they feel as well that somebody takes care, that it's not just feedback that goes somewhere and nobody addressed, but that we make actually the change as per the needs expressed.
And those expressed needs are addressed. It's not somewhere registered, right? Listed in the wish list, but it's an actual dialogue. Right? That's also helpful.
Well, Claudia actually put it very well, that you cannot also over tailor system. Yeah, so for some requests we put them in the backlog. Yes, and we are saying that it's not yet, because we have some must-have fixes, should have, and nice to have. Yes, because some, they are exactly what Claudia described as reverting back. Yeah, so exactly how it was in the old system. And then we still acknowledge that these requests reached us, that they are somewhere in the backlog, but they not necessarily will be coming out soon. Yeah, so that.
Claudia, it can become a pitfall. I really liked it when the button was there on the left. Now it's on the right. I prefer this button to be, this or that. So every individual has a lot of old habits, preferences, likes, dislikes. What helps organization to, clarify? Is it just noise that should be, acknowledged and then politely ignored, or what should be elevated? What could help organization identify? Is this a habit? Is this a need? Should we address it? What's the filter you would suggest using?
It's a tough question, and it really, I repeat that, it really depends a lot of the firm. It depends a lot on how the management is set up and how they are aligned and how they commit to the project as well. But I do not believe that anybody should ever be ignored just because they come up with a funny request. That definitely not. I do believe there's always a way to deliver the message, that it just might not be the right move right now for the firm to bring this into life, but that we keep it in the back in case future changes. Coming back to communication, right? I mean, communication needs to be kept up. We don't, want to get the users into this situation again where they are frustrated. They're already frustrated during a go live. They're frustrated before the go live. They're frustrated in the worst case scenario with the new software. Once you are there, depending on how long you stay in this mode, it's very hard to get out of that. You have already lost a lot of the people along the way. They don't even want to talk to you anymore. They don't want to.
Oh no.
That's always a kind of a bad scenario once you have reached it. I mean, it's never too late to bring them back on board, but then it really needs a lot of communication, and not by email. Then we talk about one-on-one sessions. We talk about the management to show some compassion there as well, and to bring in their dedication and time to bring this project into the right direction again, and to bring the people to the understanding that certain things just can no longer be in place like they used to be in the past for whatever reason, but tell them. And yeah.
Thanks. Let's divert to the future. Let's focus on successes. Let's say the big switches have happened. Eglė, let's think of next year, right? You'll be prepping for the annual strategy meeting. You'll be prepping packing your suitcase and all at the same time, amending the slides before the partners meetings. Sometimes, they have these strategy meetups. Like, how will you know that it was it an okay, was it a meh project, or was it a big success project that it was like well implemented? So what type of factors, KPIs you'll measure?
Yeah, I think, when we come to technology, there are some objectives and subjective measures. Yeah, so of course, objective measure that it's like smooth and it's also like no bugs, no major issues, and etc. But I think the most important aspect of any technology implementation is this adoption as to how people feel. Yeah, so if they are still like very frustrated and they are finding roundabouts, how to not do things as they are now, but just finding creative and not necessarily the optimal options to do the work, I would say it's meh, that it's not great. Okay would be like, people, they complain from time to time. There is no ideal fit all solutions anyways, and still they don't use all the functions. They stick to some minimal functions they need, but everything else is not that convenient that they would bother using. And to say that it was really great, I believe the feedback should be like, we cannot imagine going back to the old system. It's so easy to work, and it's truly helping me to save time and get things done. So
the end user satisfaction, right? That this is something that your oxygen that you will breathe.
Exactly, because it all ties up. Yeah. So if performance is low and you need to wait 5 minutes for another window to load, it will be meh. Yeah, because people, they will be complaining about that. Yeah. So it's very much this indicator, I would say, this adoption and feeling people have about technology.
Is there something else, Claudia, that you would suggest to, I don't know, maybe to start Eglė measuring for Sorainen to put in some little sensors until next year? Is there something else law firm should evaluate?
For the success of the software project. I think you did put it all quite well there. I do believe have the feedback loops, you have all that, you know what success means to you. That's what you said as well. So in general, this is really great if you know what would it mean for us that this project is a success. If you get that feedback in the end, wonderful. If you don't, keep working towards that goal. I would say you have your feedback. And you can only measure that by gathering more and more feedback in whatever way makes sense in your firm. I mean, you can't just do surveys in each firm. That's not going to work out. It really depends on the size again and on the politics and whatever might come into play. Yeah.
And is it so that like success can be different in different firms, different companies?
Yeah, because your initial goals when changing your software have been completely different too. That's why not each software meets the requirements of each firm the same way. That's why there's more solutions out there for different needs, different software. So your results will definitely be different. Some move for performance, purely for that. Others move because they want to go a little bit more modern, or others just really have some problems with the provider, personal reasons, whatever it may be. It's be it the costs, and so you really have different goals that you want to achieve with the change, and so the definition of success is definitely individual.
And it's for the firms to come up. It's for the firms to write down, maybe even,
Yeah,
right?
that's what we said from the beginning, right? If you do your homework right, you find out before you select, you find out before you go into too many details, what do you want to really achieve? What would make the firm's life better? What does the software need to be able to perform? Once you have that down, you can manage successfully the rest. But if you go a little bit blurry into these projects, that's when trouble.
Success will be blurry as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Eglė. Thanks for sharing some thoughts, your practical, your honest insights. And to everyone watching, thank you for joining. If you'd like to learn more from our experience, the participants will be linked here, so don't feel free to reach out. And if you'd like to learn more about Crespect or explore how to prepare your firm for such a software switch, connect with us here or visit crespect.com and reach out. Thanks again. I think we'll see you next time.